Hey, how's it going, you the viewer? Let me tell you about a little something that happened a while back. So as usual, I've been spending most of my days on the computer. My line of work is that whenever I'm not actively writing a script for a video, I'm either replying to an email or catching up on social media. A couple of days ago, there was a huge blast on social media that was trending about Demon Slayer. Now, as an anime YouTuber, you would expect it's kind of my job to keep up with anime. And, well, also, being a normal human, I'm very afraid of spoilers. As much as Demon hates sunlight, normally when it comes to anime, I'm the kind of guy that unless I've been completely smitten by the first episode of a show, I'll wait until the entire season is out before I start binging it. Saves time. So back in April, when Demon Slayer started airing, I saw the first episode and didn't think much of it. Put it on the back burner, knowing that while it didn't give me an absolute thirst for it, I still recognized it as a show that was gonna be really good. Fast forward to 2 days ago, where the entirety of Twitter is nutting over episode 19. So in my blindfold, don't want no spoilers mindset, I decided it was time to catch up. After all, they were up to episode 19 out of 26, so surely by the time I catch up with all released episodes, the rest of the show will be done airing, right? He said, unbeknownst to him, that he was going to binge the whole thing in 2 days. Trust me, I would have done it in one sitting, but kids at daycare and real life responsibilities and whatnot. Oh, BT dubs, this video is gonna have some surface level spoilers. I'm not diving into any big plot twists, but I'll be talking about all the arcs it has so far, and as you've guessed it, I'm gonna make a lot of reference to Hunter x Hunter. Starting off with episode 123 with the world building. As I said, I saw the first episode back in April. If you have yet to watch it, let me walk you through the premise and a bit of the world building. Tanjiro is the eldest son of a family living in a mountain. As he was the oldest, his job was to go down the mountain to do some errands. He's also just like Gon. Great sense of smelling, grew up in the wild, extremely kind but driven, does not shy away from training or hardship, and would do anything to save someone else. When Tanjiro returns the next morning, he finds that his entire family has been slaughtered, and the only survivor is the eldest sister. However, she has also been infected by a curse that turned her into a demon, the same kind of monster that destroyed his family. So on a quest to revert his sister back to her normal self, Tanjiro makes a fate encounter with a cue the title, a Demon Slayer. After their brief exchange, Gyu, the Demon Slayer, is convinced that Tanjiro has the making of becoming a Demon Slayer, and he recommends him to his former teacher. Thus begin a 2-year training session. Oh, you gotta love those training montage, where Tanjiro goes from a nobody to a pretty potent swordsman. Thus leading us to episode 4 and 5, called the Final Selection Arc. Once Tanjiro finishes training, he goes to the final selection, an exam test-like challenge where he must survive in the forest for a week to become an official Demon Slayer. And this is the first point that made me go, it's just like Hunter x Hunter's exam license thing. Alright, I dig it. Tanjiro finally meets his very first tough opponent, and that's when you see him unleash the trademark moves called the water breathing forms. There's 10 forms, therefore 10 move, and God, I cannot get enough of that art style. It makes me nut every time he uses it. The thick brush stroke mixed with the thin line is so good. Anyway, he clears that, and you get a tiny glimpse of a future character called Zenitsu. We'll get back to him. After he's done, he gets a talking crow, cause every shonen needs an annoying mascot, and he gets his official sword made of a special ore that changes color. Of course, he gets the mysterious never-seen-before black blade that gave him some OP skills later, but for the moment, it's just gonna be a mystery until the author writes himself into a corner and needs a plot twist, device, mechanism, machina bullshit to pull Tanjiro out. So yeah, that's gonna be great too. I love it. I'm saying it like it's a bad thing, but no, truly, I love it. Moving on to the next arc that I'm creatively gonna call episodes 6 and 7, The Virgin Girls. Tanjiro gets his first assigned mission, and he must find a demon in a tiny village that has been abducting very young girls. I mean, they never say the word virgin, but is what it implies. First official double battle with Nezuko that shows off that, hey, look at that, girl can actually take care of herself for once. This is more of a segue arc between getting information on Muzan, the big bad wolf antagonist of the series, and getting Tanjiro places, so nothing really important happens here, but you still get a cool battle. Episode 7, 8, 9, 10. Muzan and the Demon Doctor. There we get to probably the second best arc in the series so far, and I have quite a bit to say about it. Upon reaching Tokyo, Tanjiro meets Muzan for the first time. He wants to challenge him, but it doesn't really go his way. Yeah, would be a really short shonen otherwise. Muzan walks off. Tiny Boy meets Tamayo and Yoshiro, who are both demons, but the good kind. Muzan puts a hit on Tanjiro and the Dr. Tamayo, and this is when you learn about the 12 Moons, an organization that works under Muzan and serve as the 12 strongest member of the evil team. You know, like the Phantom Troop, or the Akatsuki, or the League of Villains. Pick your poison, really, they all have an organization. Anyway, two of them come to challenge Tanjiro, his sister, and the Doctor. One of them fights with Temari Ball, which are toy/Japanese craft made usually off of old silk fabric scraps. But in this case, I think they're made of rubber. Not important, the point is like the tiny ball that bounce around. Anyway, the other blind guy fights with vectors or invisible arrows. After a hard-fought battle, it's revealed they're not even members of the 12 Moon yet. So yeah, Tanjiro's got his work cut out for him. Moving on to the next arc again. This is the Tsuzumi Mansion, which is about 3 episodes long. I cannot stress how much I love the pacing. It's just enough to give good character development without dragging itself. The Tsuzumi Mansion is where you're officially introduced to Zenitsu, a total wimp. I hate him the first second I see him. He's afraid of everything, has no self-confidence, and thinks he's about to die every time he hears a sound, because his gimmick is hearing shit. So, that's pretty obnoxious. One thing leading to another, they enter the odd mansion that shifts its room mysteriously every time a Tsuzumi is hit. Tsuzumi are like hand drums. They're escorting children. Tanjiro and Zenitsu eventually split up, and Zenitsu lose even more his shit, if that was even possible. Super annoying. Tanjiro ends up fighting the boss man that spins the room around like some kind of Inception bullshit, and Zenitsu passes out when he finally meets a demon. And this is when my opinion of him absolutely shifts. As soon as he loses consciousness, or rather falls asleep, he enters into, I'm gonna call it Zen mode, because, I mean, come on, it's right there. And he absolutely kills it in one blast of lightning. I really like lightning elements in shonen, and polar opposite personalities. Where did I see that again? Oh yeah, Killua. Either a happy and cheerful guy, or an absolute mad lad assassin. Both are electricity user too. Okay. Brief introduction of Inosuke as well, a dude who's purely driven by battle and new challenges, regardless of his surroundings. And then you move on to the actual final arc of this show so far that has been released. Episode 14, The Wisteria Family and Mount Natagumo. Episode 14 is kind of an intermission where the characters get a break to heal and get to know each other before they head out to the next big arc, which is the best one so far, Mount Natagumo. Tanjiro and Inosuke move up to their next mission while Zenitsu cowered behind, and they enter a cursed forest led by a spider family. Tanjiro takes on the mom, Inosuke goes for Big Papa, and Zenitsu eventually ends up against the big brother, just like by accident. But the real threat is the youngest kid, who turns out to be a very threatening foe. And he actually snapped Tiny Boy's sword like a twig. And this is where I'll leave my spoilers at if you haven't seen the anime yet, because episode 19 is probably the best episode made so far this year. And then you have I-tier Demon Slayer that comes to provide backup, and there's about 6 episodes left to the anime, which is probably enough for another arc. Maybe 2. But now that I've caught you up to speed with the anime, I want to keep drawing parallel between Demon Slayer and Hunter x Hunter. I don't mean to make it look like Hunter x Hunter has a forest and there's a forest in Demon Slayer, boom, same show. It's true that both anime have absolutely stellar artwork and soundtrack that I cannot praise enough, endearing characters with depth and a compelling story, but that's all surface level. Every show can have that. Beyond all this, you have a license examination test at the very beginning of the show. The similarity between Gon and Tanjiro are literally palpable, And while they're not the same character, I can't help but feel like there's some inspiration in there for sure. Same for Zenitsu and Killua. You have mentors, evil organization, and a final boss that looks league beyond what the main characters can do, although that's more of a shonen trope altogether. But what really ties the whole thing together for me is actually the ambience, the atmosphere, how real this show is. There's actual people dying, not like your fairy tale friendship where people get knocked out. There are real consequences. You do end up feeling sad for the casualties, like the girl who got her neck snapped. Even the bad guys that get taken out make you feel sympathy for them. That Suzumi guy with his writing paper that Tanjiro doesn't want to step on, or especially for me, the Spider-Mom stand switch halfway through the final blow. That was fucking poetic, dude. There's so much more depth in this anime compared to a run-of-the-mill shonen. Now, I'm not saying that Demon Slayer is a replacement for Hunter x Hunter. It's never going to be. I don't think anything ever will. But if you were to tell me a while back, hey Misty, check out Demon Slayer, it has the same hype and excitement factor that you got watching Hunter x Hunter, I would have not believed you at first, but after watching the first 20 episodes though, I completely agree. If you love Hunter x Hunter, there's no way you will not enjoy Demon Slayer. Everything cool you love about Hunter x Hunter finds its way spiritually in Demon Slayer. And considering with this season they've only adapted the first 50 chapters or so, and also considering there's over 160 chapters total at the moment, this is bound to get a sequel, or I will make my own breeding form and call it Sol Form number 4. I deserve a sequel. Also, shout out to Ufotable because they have done this anime flawlessly. Did you know that this whole show is in CGI? No, I'm not shitting you. Whenever there's a character in the distance walking where you can't see all the detail, that's purely 3D models animated. And for any up close shot, it's CGI with painted over drawings. This way they don't have to animate every fight scene frame by frame, they just have to draw over an animation. Saves so much time and looks like your average anime to the untrained eye. Pretty cool how they managed to deceive everyone with this. I don't know, I find that fascinating myself. Anyway, that's my 2 cents about Demon Slayer. Have you seen it? Do you like it? I'm curious to hear about everyone's opinion. Is Nezuko best girl? Look at her feature, she was the cutest girl in her village. How can you not like her? If you have been holding out to watch it, they have all the episodes available on crunchyroll.com/Misty. Gotta give my shout out. Go over there, snag yourself a 14 days free trial, and binge over 1,000 of different anime titles. They also have Hunter x Hunter, so you can knock 2 birds at once if you haven't seen that one either. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.